Let's get talking. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk with your boy Carl E. Long. I'm your boy Carl, and welcome to another episode of my podcast, episode 55, 54, 55, 55, I believe. Yes, 55 of these things I've done. Very excited about them. Yes. So today, this is going to be kind of a podcast mashup. I got several things I want to talk about. There's so much stuff in the news. So this is kind of off the cuff, but it's stuff that's happening now and we just need to talk about it. How about that? Let's just do that today. So let's get into it. Hope you're having a great week, and I'm having a great week. You know, things are starting to progress. Can you believe that it is already March? Before you know it, it'll be summer and we'll be putting Christmas trees up. That's how quick things are moving. As you get older, boy, these days seem like they're getting swifter. Yes, they do. So don't wish your time away. Enjoy every moment of your life. Do what you got to do. Get that bucket list together and start doing some things with your life. All right. So I want to just get right into it. Let's just jump right into it. We got a lot to talk about today, from Texas politics to Trump, to Hollywood, to Michael Jackson, and honestly, all of it feels connected by things of power, attention, influences. So let's just break it down. So the first thing I want to talk about is the race, the Talarico and Crockett race. Y'all know that I have been a loud supporter of Jasmine. Yes, I have. Talarico. I have been a very, very loud supporter of her, and it didn't turn out the way that I thought it would. It did not, but that's okay. I am still proud of what we did as Democrats. Yeah, we did a great thing as Democrats. Yes, we did. So it ended up being Talarico and Crockett. They fought it out. This was a primary, guys. And look at these numbers. Look at the numbers that we got here. Each candidate got over 1 million votes in a primary. In a freaking primary. And I want to say that both of them did their work. They got people off the couch. Both of them had different strategies. Talarico was going after the Latino community. Jasmine was basically trying to energize the African American community and get them out to vote. So don't think that African Americans couldn't help change this race, because we could. We almost did it, guys. Dallas County did their thing, but you know all the stuff that went on in Dallas County, which is kind of crazy, because here's what happened. As a person that is from Dallas County, and I have a property in Jasmine's district, and I have a property in Colin Allred's district. So what they did, when they gerrymandered those districts, they sent the voting places different places. So people who vote on day of, which I never do, they went to the normal polling places and found out, hey, you don't, this is not your polling place. You have to go here. So it was a big mess. And people were saying they didn't know how to find. They were going to the Secretary of State's site and it wasn't there. The voter.org site wasn't updated with the new districts and everything like that. And a lot of these voters, you got to understand, were first-time voters who've never voted. I saw several videos, TikTok videos, Facebook videos of people who have never voted, in their 20s and their 30s, and they were voting for the first time because they were excited about what Jasmine Crockett was doing and what she promised to do. She was someone for the people. She still is. She fights for us. She stands up for the issues that we care about, and she don't put her hand down and not do it. She does everything that she possibly can. Now, I'm not going to diss my boy Talarico. I'm not going to diss him at all, because I liked him before the race even started, and I hated they had to run together. But out of the choice, Jasmine was my girl. She's my girl. She's the one that I wanted to win. So, no, I'm going to vote for Talarico. Yes, I am. Now, the argument that's out there that everybody's having is that there are a lot of our 92 percenters, our females, are upset. They're upset because they're always having to pull everything, and here we are to save the day all the time. We're always having to do something, and they're mad, and they're saying that they may not vote. They might write Jasmine's name in, or they just might stay on the couch. And that's where we have to really start and think about what we're doing here. And I used to be one of those people that said, you vote Democratic no matter what. But you know what? After seeing the way they drug Jasmine in these comments and the things they were saying, it made me understand, you know what? If you want my vote, it's not going to be an automatic thing. You have to come to our neighborhoods. Come talk about our issues. James, you got some work to do in the African American community. You've come to a few little places here and there, but you need to come into the spaces that Jasmine came into, our churches, our places, business, all of the things that we have. Come to some of those places. Tell us what you want to do. Your message is good. I believe in your message. And I think you're a fighter. I really do. But you're going to have to put a little bit more fire in you when you go up there and work with these Trump people. But that's the message that we were trying to tell all of the people that were out there saying that we're stupid. We're not going to just vote. You're going to just give away your vote to the oligarchs. No, we're not going to do that. But you're not going to just automatically get our vote either. Okay? That's the word. And that's what always happens. We're always there to save the day. Democrats cannot win without the minority vote, especially the black vote. They cannot win. They know that. Y'all, there are not enough white Democrats to win an election. No matter how you put it, there's not enough. You have to understand that. So if they want our vote, they need to come to us, talk about our issues, and we're going to vote the right thing. But if you want to get people off the couch, because that's the difference. Either you're going to get people to vote or they're not going to vote. Then you need to come and be correct. Otherwise, they ain't coming. Jasmine and James energized this base to come out to a primary. Unprecedented to have this many votes in a primary. They did the work. Now we got to do our part. But you got to do your part too. So James, Talarico, your team, if you're listening to this podcast, you see any clip, you need to come into some of our spaces. You need to talk to us. You got to get this energy, keep going. You got to keep this energy going. Otherwise, it's going to be crazy. All right, so I have this one little video I want to share with you about Stephen A. Smith, who I don't particularly like anyway because he always trashes the Dallas Cowboys. I'm a Dallasite, never have liked the brother. Get on my nerve. He's smart and all that, but he's been trying to get into the political scene, but he's not good at it. He's just not good at it. It's not good at it. So I want you to listen to this video that I got where Gary Chambers, who is a politician in Louisiana, and Roland Martin tried to explain how the voting went in Texas and everything, and how everything was spread out and the kind of work that's needed in Texas. But I think that Chambers did it best, and he puts old Stephen A. Smith in his place. Take a listen and tell me what you think. We'll talk about it on the other side.
The United States Senate seat. You ain't talking about 766,000 constituents. You talk about 31 million, all right, if you become one or two U.S. senators. But in order to win Texas, and I say Texas the way I say Texas for a reason. So that's the South, that's deep South right there. I said, you're going to have to come across a little bit differently if you want to win. That was my belief system. You can call that assimilation or whatever. I'm just thinking you're trying to win an election. Those are voters. You got to go get them. Was I wrong in my thinking, in my assertions and thinking that?
I think so. And I'm going to give you a perspective from my election in 2022. When I ran against John Kennedy with Luke Mixon was a fighter pilot, Top Gun pilot in the military, went to West Point, great man, and he ran for office, a white Democrat. He was endorsed by our Democratic governor at the time. He raised $3 million, which I only raised $1.4 million. Folks told me that Luke Mixon was going to beat me in the race when we were in that situation. Luke asked me one day, Gary, why are you so nice to me? I said, because you can't beat me. Louisiana is 34% black, Stephen. What we have done as a strategy is tell black people that you got to go get that white vote in order to win, when the truth is you're leaving hundreds of thousands of black voters at home because you're not engaging them or prioritizing them. So if you have, it's really always numbers. Louisiana is 34% black, which means that I only need 15 to 20% of white voters to join me in order to win this election. When I ran, I got 40% of white Democrats. Luke Mixon got 26% of black Democrats. What I'm saying in that is, I was talking about black issues. I never had an event where white people didn't show up. I have learned that the white voters that we are looking for, they are chasing us down. They need us to go get our base out. And what we have failed at as black Democrats is prioritize the needs of black people in tangible ways so that we can stimulate and motivate them to go vote. We can't just show up at events. We got to get in the community. We got to let some of our aunties and uncles cuss us out because they're not satisfied with the product of what they get in their neighborhood. And then after they tell you what they feel about you, that same black person is going to show up for you because they want to be able to hold you accountable. And the only way that black people have been able to hold the Democratic establishment accountable is not to show up.
So you're saying to me that Louisiana's 34% in terms of the black vote that you was after, it's about 34% black. Well, what was the number in Texas?
Texas percentage is about, I think, 14 or 15% black. But Texas is over 50% minority, right? And so what I believe the strategy for black Democrats in Texas has to be, you got to get every black voter in Texas engaged, energized, and geared up behind a black candidate. And just like James Talarico has won his primary, and now he's going to try to get black voters to come over to him. When you win your primary, you then get to bring people over to you. But we are always making our decisions based on what other people are doing rather than what is in our best interest first. No other group of people does that other than black people.
Okay, so you're saying to me that Jasmine Crockett should have and could have focused more and primarily on the black voter, and that would have been enough for her to win Texas. That whether it was a campaign, whether it's a campaign manager or somebody, they didn't do their job.
Absolutely, she would have won the primary if she focused. If she had put all of her energy into black voters and turned those voters. She lost by 144,000. She had 1 million plus black people on the vine. So you have a winning strategy. The execution of the strategy left too many black voters on the vine. And the proof is actually watching what James Talarico is telling everybody. He said, we invested in Hispanic radio. We had bilingual ads. We spent money. He went after a specific group. He never said they went after black voters. Not one time when you watch Chuck's interviews are he saying that he targeted black voters at all, because it wasn't a part of the strategy, because primary is about tribe, and who has the strongest tribe moves to the other side. If black voters show up at that level, nobody else has a choice but to come along with you if they want to win.
Gary.
Did y'all hear that? Strategy. That was Jasmine's strategy. She was trying to energize our base. She almost got there. She could have done it. But, it's something else. This is a whole different race. So the race between Jasmine Crockett and James Talarico is not just another political contest. This is a battle for the identity of Texas Democrats. Because here's the real question. What kind of leadership voters actually want right now? Do they want bold and unapologetic, say it to your chest leadership, or do they want someone who's more measured, more policy focused, more bridge building? And let me say this race is exposing something deeper. Texas is changing, guys. It is changing, diversifying, and becoming more politically active. The good old whiteboard thing is about gone. We're tired of that. But the question is, can that energy translate into statewide wins? Because historically, Democrats in Texas hit a wall when it comes to rural voters and turnout. So now the strategy debate is real. Do we energize the base, our base, especially black voters and young voters, or go all in? Or do you try to appeal to the middle and win over the moderates? Next, no. I'm so tired of the battle between the moderates. You know what? That people on the fence, I told you, y'all have heard me say that. That just irritates the crap out of me. I'm sorry. What do you got to prove to y'all? Y'all hear the same stuff that Trump does that we do, but you still got to woo you. What are we trying to woo you from? You hear the same mismanagement of the administration, all of the things, the corruption, and we have to tell you about it. I'm sick of doing that. So that's wasted time. Texas is no longer just red versus blue. It's a fight over what version of blue can actually win here. Can actually win here. That's the battle, guys, in Texas. What kind of blue do we want to be? And that's why we can't win, because we don't even answer that. We can't even answer that question. I'm saying that progressives are a lot stronger than we think they are. We're just afraid to embrace the vision. What say you? All right. So that's James, Talarico, and Jasmine. I'm so proud of her and what she did. I'm very, very proud of her. We are very proud of what you did, Jasmine. And don't you ever forget what you've done. I mean, she took a chance. She knew she was taking a chance, but how are you going to know if you don't try? If you don't try. She did a damn good job of getting people energized. And people tried to say her campaign wasn't together and this and that. It doesn't matter. She did what she did on less money. She still got 1 million folks out there to vote on her. And she energized this country with this race. That was Jasmine. So many people, the right is so afraid of her, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. They are afraid of people that speak the truth. Y'all can call her all kinds of names, ghetto and all this. That is nothing but just fear. Fear. Because you know she's a fighter and she's smart and she knows what she's doing and she's going to get hers. We're just going to have to wait. All right. So, next thing I want to talk about is this war. This war, starting the war, controlling the narrative. Let's talk about Donald Trump. Let's talk about Donald Trump and this goddamn war that he has started. Guys, what are we doing here? What are we doing at this war? Y'all see he renamed the Department of Defense Department of War, and that is exactly what he's doing. I mean, Iran, we know Iran has always been a threat to the nations, but right now things were kind of chill. But this man has went over there and started a world war. And all I can think about is going back to his campaign videos where they were saying Kamala Harris will take y'all into war. This man has lied about every single thing that he said he was going to do. He has started a freaking war, and now the allies are all upset. Nobody's coming to our defense. The Strait of Hormuz is there, which is very important. We can't get any ships through there. Iran is just basically taking that over, and now he's looking for help to getting ships through that. That's where a lot of stuff comes through. Only 6% of American oil and gas and things come through that, but a lot of other countries rely on that little strait right there. They didn't think this out. And you know what's so scary? I don't want to say I'm going to say this. Usually, and y'all have seen the movie Wag the Dog. You understand how this works. Usually, this is the word that most people say, and nobody wants to believe it. But when politicians or presidents get into hot water, they start working on wars or talking about what they've done. They try to do something heroic to get our minds off of other things that they're not doing well. Like he's not doing well with the economy. Those darn Epstein files are still out there. There's some little young girl who's written about Trump saying that he did some things to her. That's out there. There's a lot going on. There is a reason why Donald Trump has fought these Epstein files so vigorously. And we know it. And I wouldn't be surprised. If this whole war effort was him trying to go in and just kill a leader and thought he's going to go in there and just come out. Are you serious? This is Iran we're talking about. You're over there in the Holy Lands where wars have been there for you. You just don't go in there. This is not Venezuela. You know, this is not some drug lord country. These are people that are fought religious wars that have died because of what they believe in, and they don't care. Now, what this has done, Trump has started a war. Now let's just kind of unpack that. Are we talking about an actual war, a political war, or a media war? No, it's a war. Because with Trump, you always have to look at the strategy behind the chaos. Trump understands something very clearly, If you control the headlines, you control the conversation. So when something big and dramatic happens, what does it do? It pulls attention. It shifts focus. It gets people emotional. Look at me. And while everybody is reacting, something else might not be getting attention. Legal issues, investigations, policy debates. So the question is, and I want you to think about this, are we reacting to what's happening? Or are we being guided to react to what he wants us to see? Because distraction is a powerful tool in politics, guys. It just is. Now let me ask something else. When tensions rise globally, whether it's an actual conflict or even the perception of one, it just doesn't stay over there. You know, it has ripple effects here at home. We got heightened security, awareness, and concerns in the United States because, let's be real, when decisions are made that upset other countries, you never fully know how the reaction might show up. That doesn't mean to panic, but it does mean we have to be alert and smart. I mean, security agencies, which I don't have a lot of trust in right now, local governments, and even everyday people have to operate with a higher level of awareness because in times like these, the risk isn't always obvious. It can come from individuals acting on anger, ideology, or misinformation. And again, this is not about fear. It's about understanding the moment we're in. When global tensions rise, domestic awareness has to rise with it. This is something very scary, guys. And the way this administration has handled this has just been scary. This was my biggest fear, that Trump has the command and the pulse on our armed forces, and he has started a freaking war in the Middle East. I mean, you can't even go to Dubai. I mean, the UAE, the countries that you could go to and visit, they've closed airspace in Dubai. I don't know if they opened it back up, but people got out of there because they were bombing places where we used to travel. And these nations are very, very upset that Trump went in there and started this. He wanted a regime change. That didn't happen. The Khomeini's son is in there. He's just as corrupt. So what have we done? I know we've obliterated a lot of things over there, and we've done that well, I'm hearing. But I'm also hearing that we killed children. It was a mistake. I have yet to hear any of them apologize and say they're sorry. It was a mistake. It should never have happened. The United States doesn't. I haven't heard that. This is not who we are. We don't do that sort of thing. If there was some old intelligence out there and you sent this tomahawk, it was one of ours. That's how they know that we did it. They tried to say that it was Israel or Iran or something like that. No, it was us. Children. So this war is not good. Could this have been inevitable one day in the future with them having nuclear weapons? Possibly. But it wasn't now. And strategically, the way that they did it, it's messed up. It's messed up, and I don't know how we're going to get out of it. Trump says that all he has to do is say the war is over and it stops. Not this time. You're dealing with a whole group of different people. Yes, you are. These people are crazy, Donald Trump. So that's why we got to get we got to get control of these midterms so we can fix this, because I just don't trust what the Republicans are doing. They're so afraid of Donald Trump and bucking up against him that they won't even stand up to this, and that's scary. That's scary. What do I think is a positive of this whole thing? The only thing that I have positive I can say is that at least Marco Rubio has some sense of what's right and wrong, and hopefully it'll spill over. Susie Wiles, she's in there. Somebody's got to get to this man's mind, because frankly, I think something's going on with him. I really do. He's been just going off the wire just way too much. So pray for this country. Pray that we don't get stuck into a war, and pray that this conflict ends with no more casualties. Ends. All right, so I want to lighten it up now, and I want to talk about dear Timothée Chalamet. Timothée Chalamet. There you are, Timothy. What's going on with my brother? What is going on with dear Timothée Chalamet? I used to like him. Now, Timothée Chalamet is an actor. If you don't know who he is, he was in one of my favorite movies, Call Me By Your Name. He did such a great job in that movie. He's an up-and-coming star, movie star, and he's a great actor, but I think he's letting the Hollywood bug get to him. Some of the things he's been saying, he's messing up his career. He's a great actor, but dude, what you said about the ballet and opera was just way out of line, Mr. Chalamet. Let me let you hear what he said about the ballet and opera, and then come back and see what the argument's all about.
Clip gained a lot of attention.
And I don't want to be working in ballet or opera or, things where it's like, hey, keep this thing alive, even though no one cares about this anymore. All respect to the ballet and opera people out there. I just lost 14 cents in viewership. But
For the record, I care deeply about ballet, don't we?
So there you go. He said we don't care about it. He ditched the whole art form. Two of them, opera and ballet. Nobody cares about it. Yes, we do. So he's gotten into a point where he's just, I don't know. Yeah, because just a few years ago, he was that guy, the indie film favorite, the serious actor, the one everybody respected. Now he's everywhere. Big movies, fashion campaigns, celebrity relationships, and here's what happens in Hollywood every time. We love you, then you get bigger, then you get overexposed, and then people start asking, wait, do we still like him? But I think the real question is deeper. Can he stay grounded as an actor while becoming a global celebrity brand? Because those two things don't always coexist well. Timothy, you got time to fix this, bruh. You messing stuff up. You're a joke right now to people. You got to fix it. You got to fix it. You wanted that Marty Supreme. I know you thought you did an excellent job in the movie. I haven't seen it yet. And you may have, but dude, I don't know what happened to you. That movie must have made you go crazy. I've heard some crazy stuff you've done as far as when you were campaigning for the Oscar for that movie. Yeah. Doesn't sound good, dear Timothy. Now let's talk about the Oscars. Whoa. I was so proud. The Oscars. Let's talk about the celebration, some history, the snubs. It was some big moments this year. A lot of energy around Michael B. Jordan and what he represents right now in Hollywood. He's not just acting anymore. He's building influence. And then you have the historic win of the cinematographer, a female. Okay, there's two things you need to know. The directors and the cinematographer, those are the boys' clubs. Typically the white boys' club. But cinematography is more global, because that's an art form that's kind of international. But a woman broke the record, and we have our first woman cinematography Oscar winner for Sinners. Isn't that great? Yeah, that is great. So now let's talk about that win. So let me show you the actual wins at the Oscars. Do I have that slide? I think I have a slide where I was showing that. Maybe I didn't load it. I did not load that slide. But anyway, they won 4 awards. Yes, they did. And it was quite a wonderful thing to see them win, especially my dear boy, Ryan Coogler. He won for Best Original Screenplay. Yeah. And the other one was, they won for sound. His name was Ludwig something. I don't have the slide now. I can't even tell you. And then what else? And then, of course, they won for Michael B. Jordan won Best Actor. And what was the four? They won. Those were the four. Yeah. So that's good. Even though they had over 14 nominations, they had four. It wasn't a big winner. Nobody won a whole lot. Sinners won like 6. It was kind of spread around. This was a very good year for movies. Very good year for movies. So I was very proud of Mr. Michael B. Jordan here. There you go, Michael B. He's a child actor. He comes from soap operas. He was on All My Children. And this is his first nomination and win. Yes. We haven't had a lot of African American winners in the best actor category at all. I mean, we've had more there than we've had anywhere else, but this is historic. It's historic, and we're so proud of you, Michael B. Jordan. Yes, we are. Now, the other thing everybody's talking about is Tiana Taylor. How excited she was for everybody that was winning. I want y'all to leave Tiana alone. She put a statement out on Twitter or Instagram or whatever she put it about her excitement. She was so excited when she didn't win, but Amy Madigan won. Now, let me tell you what happens at the Oscars. When you're nominated for an Oscar, there are a lot of dinners, celebrations. They meet. There's actually an actual celebration when they get their nomination. They get a little nomination plaque and all this other gifts and things like that. And so all the nominees get to know each other. Then they take a class picture all together, and they all get to know each other. Tiana is just a big open heart. She's very, very excited. She was proud. This is her first big break. I mean, y'all don't realize that she came from Tyler Perry. She came from Tyler Perry movie. Do y'all remember Byron? That movie? That was Tiana Taylor. Yeah. This little girl right here is into the big times. And she won the Golden Globe. You remember that. She won the Golden Globe. She didn't win the Oscar. She was nominated for the BAFTA, Screen Actors Guild. She was nominated everywhere. Critics' Choice, all of those. But she won the Golden Globe. So I'm very proud of Tiana. You did very well. And y'all leave her alone for being happy for everybody. So that's real talk. And people have been rooting for her because she represents something bigger. She's a multi-talented artist, and she's finally being taken seriously in film spaces. Give her that. But let's be honest. Every Oscars has its what's happened moments, and they had to find something. And one of them was like, where's Sean Penn? I was so mad that he wasn't there. He's very kind of anti-award. They should have gave it to Delroy Lindo. You want to be there, Sean. You had a great role in the movie. You did very good. Delroy, you both. But people wanted Delroy. He was more humbled. He'd been in the business a lot longer. And Sean, you're not even there to get the award. And when it doesn't bring up the same conversation about who should be recognized, who gets recognized, who keeps getting overlooked. Yeah, that's what happened at the Oscars. But it was a great night. I was very excited. And the movies are good. You need to go and see one. If you haven't seen One Battle After Another, very good. Sinners, very good. I'm looking at all the movies. Weapons, where Amy Madigan won. That was very weird, but good. Weird movie. Yeah, some great movies. So make sure you get a chance to look at them. I haven't seen Hamnet yet. I got to see that. And stuff, But check them out. That's what you need to do. So let's talk about the SAVE Act. What's really at stake with that? You know what? I am so afraid. So afraid. Why is Trump pushing this so hard, guys? I'll give you one word. Impeachment. Because control of the House, control of the Senate, that determines everything. Investigations, accountability, power. So this fight, it's not about election. It's about setting the board before the game even starts. Real talk. Yeah. That's what's happening. So he's so afraid. He wants to do something. He's going to try to do something in these midterms. I don't know what he's going to do. But we need to be vigilant. Everybody needs to vote early. Don't get into situations where things are murky, We don't want any lawsuits, any kind of recounts. We don't want any, we want this to be a clean election where Democrats can take back the House and hopefully the Senate too. And we need to get some stuff done. But Trump is trying to pass this act where you got to have a passport and all this other crap just to vote. We're not doing that. He's even said in his own words, he's even said that he wants to cancel the midterms. He might find a loophole. Who knows? He might find a loophole, and it's scaring the heck out of me. So, this SAVE Act. He could get this thing done if he wanted to, but the filibuster is in place right now. He wants to get rid of that. If he got rid of that and just went off of that, he could just get this thing passed. But it's so many of the, we have a few Republicans that are holding him hostage and not letting him get the total number of votes. So they're going to have to get what they need to get in order to get that thing passed. All right, so let's have some real talk about retail workers. Do you know what those are? People that work in retail. Why am I invested so much in this? Because I work in retail. Real talk. Be nice to service workers. Because I need to say something real. Be nice to service workers, retail workers, fast food workers, customer service reps, anybody serving you, helping you, ringing you up, bringing you your food. Treat them with respect. And I'm going to be honest with you. Some of y'all are out there being rude, demanding, self-serving, like the world revolves around your experience. It does not. You have no idea what these workers deal with on a daily basis. The pressure, the low pay, the expectations, the excessive work, and sometimes the straight up disrespect. I worked retail. And trust me when I tell you the hard work and the paychecks do not match the level of stress and at times the torture from the public. So let me say this clearly to you. If you walk into a store that's clean, organized, and set up nicely for you to shop, respect the work of that place. Don't treat the place like it's, don't pick up after yourself. Don't treat the place like somebody else is just there to clean up behind you. And stop assuming that workers are supposed to cater to your every demand, no matter what. That mindset, that's outdated, that's entitlement, and it needs to go. Now, yes, every now and then you might run into someone having a bad day. That happens, but that is not the norm. Most of these workers, especially the young people, are being in fast food and restaurants are being held to very high standards. Every single shift, they're trying, they're working, they're doing their part. So the next time you're frustrated, pause for a second, breathe, because kindness costs you nothing. But it means everything to someone who's just trying to get through their shift. Y'all got that? Get into it. Because some of y'all out there, whoo, I just have to sometimes, this is what I do. If I come across someone that's being so disrespectful or whatever, we wear radios because I'm in management. We wear radios or whatever. And I just walk away. I say, excuse me, let me get this real quick. And I go and I get a breather. And I try to put myself back in the condition where that I can help the customer. But sometimes the stuff is so much that you just want to like lash out. Because people can be so mean. And these days and times, the way you talk and comments, when people don't care, there's no filter. People just doing everything. Then you got Donald Trump in office, is making the whole climate even worse. So, yeah. Things like, can we have someone up here who can speak English? I'm getting that. We get that kind of stuff. You know, does she speak? I was like, what? Yes, she speaks English. You know, looking at someone and saying things like that. There's a lot going on. People are mean and they're rude and they're not nice. So I implore you, try it. Be nice. Okay. So, guess what else is coming up? The Michael Jackson movie It's coming out. How excited are you about the movie? I'm very excited. Yes, I am. Michael Jackson. The movie, it's in theaters starting April 24th. We're getting closer. And it stars Jafar Jackson as Michael. How excited. Michael Jackson was such a phenomenon in our lives. And we know all the story. We know everything that's happened to him and whatever. But to see it in the big screen as a biopic and the family behind a lot of the writing, the screenplay, and getting their blessing onto it, and Catherine approving, the state approving it. I mean, this is not an unauthorized biography. It's going to be wonderful. I'm just wondering how they're going to handle the whole child pedophile stuff. I don't know. I never did believe that. I never did believe it. I just didn't. Just like when people were talking about Michael bleaching his skin, I didn't believe that either. And when I found out he had vitiligo, I said, I knew something was up. He didn't want to be he wasn't trying to bleach his skin. And then nobody's really apologized to him for all the stuff they said about that when the boy's been wearing gloves because he had vitiligo on his hand. Yep. So that's coming up. So I hope you're excited about that. I really do. And there's been some rumors out in the social media that Jermaine and Janet don't agree with the movie, and it's been debunked. That's not true. Michael Jackson is not just a legend. He's a layered legacy. He's a genius. It's an icon. There's controversy. There's influence. So what do you want from the film? Do you want the truth, the full story, or even the uncomfortable parts? Or do we want the magic? Because let's be real for a second. Some people don't want complexity. They want Michael back. Any form they can get him. Me, yeah. Any form that we can get him. So those were just a few little points in this little mini pod here that I wanted to talk about today. And let's keep in prayer for this country. Let's keep in prayer for this country, guys, because this war thing, this is scary. It really is scary. And I don't even want to watch the news because I'm afraid of looking at what's happening. We went through 911, guys. If you get these guys upset, we don't know what could happen. Are we prepared? I'm just not trusting this administration. Pete Hegseth, they lie so much. You can't trust them. And that's the bold truth. I've never said that about any administration, about armed forces and keeping us safe. But you just can't trust this administration. They're playing games with people's lives. So when you look at everything we talked about today, politics, media, Hollywood, everyday life, it all comes back to this. What's real? What's influenced? And how are we treating each other in the middle of it all? Because at the end of the day, all this noise doesn't matter if we lose basic human decency. I'll let you sit with that. Basic human decency. We can't lose that. Thank you so much for joining me for this mini pod, this hodgepodge of topics. And just remember, keep talking and keep learning about each other. And let's make this country of ours right, this world of ours right. We can do it together. And thank you for another episode of Let's Talk. Have a wonderful day. Bye now.